MacArthur Park might look like just another rundown green space with palm trees and pigeons, but trust me, there's something way darker going on there. Most people just see the surface, joggers, street vendors, maybe someone fishing off the edge of the lake. But if you've ever spent any real time there, you felt it. That eerie stillness, like the ground is holding its breath. Because the truth is, this park has a past, and not the kind they put on brochures. We're talking bodies in the lake, secret tunnels, Cold War paranoia, and so many urban legends that even the locals don't know what's real anymore. But as wild as it all sounds, so much of it's rooted in fact. That park? It's sitting on top of more than just dirt. Let's talk about the lake first. That weird, murky, greenish body of water right in the middle of the park has been a source of mystery for nearly a century. People love to joke that it's bottomless, and while that's obviously not true, what lies at the bottom might as well be endless. Over the years, police divers have pulled out everything from handguns and knives to fully clothed mannequins, garbage bins, and even human remains. One officer once said off the record, "If something goes missing in this part of the city, check the lake first." It became this unofficial dumping ground during the gang wars of the 1980s and 90s. People needed to get rid of evidence, guns, stolen goods, sometimes even cars, and they'd just roll it into the water. There are even old reports of gang initiations involving the lake. No cameras, no witnesses, just silence. That lake has seen more crime than some whole neighborhoods. And then there are the tunnels. A lot of people think that whole underground tunnel system in LA is a myth, but it's very real. The city's got an entire hidden layer beneath the surface, built over 100 years ago. Some tunnels were used during Prohibition to move booze from one place to another without getting busted. Others were used by corrupt politicians and mobsters who needed to disappear when things got too hot. And according to multiple sources, like city workers, longtime residents, and even former gang members, some of those tunnels connect directly to the MacArthur Park area. There's a long-standing rumor that one of the tunnels goes from the old Westlake Theater straight under Wilshire Boulevard, popping up in a city building near the edge of the park. Another supposedly links the park to an abandoned hotel basement where illegal gambling rings used to operate in the 1940s. The entrances to these tunnels have mostly been sealed up, but people claim they still exist. And if you know where to look, you might just find one. But the sketchy history of this place doesn't stop with crime and tunnels. Back during the Cold War, LA got seriously weird. There was this constant low-level fear that the Soviet Union was gonna nuke the city. In response, the government set up secret emergency plans, and MacArthur Park was apparently one of the zones marked as a potential fallback area for local authorities. That meant stockpiles of emergency supplies, radiation monitors, and, according to a few declassified files, possibly even underground shelters. Some people even claim that a few of the tunnels beneath the park were repurposed into Cold War bunkers, complete with food rations, cots, and radio equipment. Whether any of that is still down there today, that's anyone's guess. But the rumors are so consistent and so detailed that it's hard to believe it's all just made up. Then there's the 1960s and 70s, when the park took on a whole new identity. It became a hub for artists, poets, political radicals, and musicians. You'd have anti-war protests happening on one side of the lake and a psychedelic rock band playing a set on the other. But with that energy came surveillance. People forget the FBI had a massive presence in LA during those years, and they kept a close eye on anyone who seemed too revolutionary. There are stories of plainclothes agents sitting on the benches in MacArthur Park, quietly taking photos, listening in on conversations, and sometimes even snatching people off the street. A few folks from that era still claim their friends disappeared after a protest, never arrested, never released, just gone. And while there's no public record proving these claims, the number of people telling the same stories decades later makes you wonder what was really going on behind the scenes. And of course, we can't ignore the ghost stories. Every city's got them, but MacArthur Parks are different. There's a local legend about a woman in white who shows up near the lake just after midnight. People call her the MacArthur Woman. Some say she drowned. Others say she was murdered and dumped there. What's consistent is this: she wanders the edge of the lake, soaking wet, long dark hair covering her face, and she's always looking, like she lost something, or someone. Dozens of people, from night joggers to homeless residents to off-duty cops, have claimed to see her. Some even filed official reports. The LAPD won't comment, obviously, but a few officers have said off the record they avoid the park at night, especially that part near the lake. And then there's the story of the musician who swore he heard music coming from under the water. He followed it, ended up falling in, and claimed someone or something tried to pull him under. He lived to tell the story, but barely. Even after all this time, the city hasn't tried to erase the park's strange legacy. In fact, it sort of just lives with it. Sure, there have been a few renovations and it's been cleaned up on and off over the years, but that energy, that weight, it's still there. It's like the park remembers everything, all the violence, all the deals, all the whispers in the shadows. It's like the land itself is holding on to secrets no one wants to uncover. Maybe they're buried under the grass, maybe they're floating in the lake, or maybe they're still walking the park at night, waiting for someone to finally ask the right questions. So yeah, what really lies beneath MacArthur Park? It's not just mud and trash. It's a whole history LA doesn't really like to talk about. A forgotten chapter, full of ghosts, some literal, some just the kind that haunt a city's conscience. But if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of that lake after dark and the wind suddenly stops, maybe don't look too closely. Some things were buried for a reason.